Hi, so I'm going to contribute my meaningful skill to cooking because cooking is something that has always been a big part of my life. I have an Italian grandfather. He's always cooked for me, and it has kind of spread throughout our genes. My dad is now the cook. He learned from his father. I learned from my dad. And Italian food is something that is very heavily cherished in this household. So I'm going to teach you guys how to make um, Alfredo sauce, which is my master skill. So I have used this sauce over. You can put it over chicken, pasta, vegetables, all the above. The famous dish that I know of is the chicken broccoli Alfredo, and most people actually just buy the sauce, like red or white sauce from the store. But personally, in my family, we make it homemade. So you're going to need a saucepan, you're going to need heavy whipping cream, you're also going to need Parmesan, garlic cloves, and butter. Five things total. One thing is just the pan, so you only need four ingredients. It's very simple. And you're going to want to start by first putting the garlic cloves and the butter into the saucepan that you have on low heat. It's very important that you keep it on low heat so nothing churns itself. And for me, I really like to let the butter and garlic sit. I like to cut the garlic up nice and small so I don't eat it whole in my sauce. And once I let the garlic and butter sit together for a little bit, I'll add the whipping cream. And the whipping cream is really important because it's really like the main ingredient of the sauce. And it's also really important not to put your stove on too high when you put the whipping cream in because then you're going to get really cruddy, just chunky Alfredo sauce, and that's not something you want just from burning your cream, which can happen very easily. So you're going to want to let your cream sit with your butter and garlic for at least a minute or two. And then it's really your jurisdiction. If you feel the cream is thick enough, you can pour in some of your Parmesan, the grated cheese. For me, I like to let my sauce sit before I put in the Parmesan cheese for at least 3 minutes. I let it cook a little bit longer because it makes the sauce just a little bit creamier and a little bit thicker. And then once I'm done with that, I have to put in my Parmesan cheese. And the big thing with the Parmesan cheese is that you want to put in at least a half a cup, but you can add more depending on how much cream you put in. And the cream to cheese ratio is very important because if you were to put too much of your cheese in, then you're going to get a pasta sauce that's a little too cheesy. And if you're to put a little bit less of this in, you're going to get a pasta sauce that's a little more runnier. So it is preference as to how you like your sauce. I like mine a little more creamier, so I do add more Parmesan, and the ratio is, I must say, perfect. And you're going to want to let this sit in for at least 3 minutes, and you're going to notice, for me, I use the shredded Parmesan cheese instead of the grated Parmesan cheese, so I can see how melty the cheese gets, and that way I can decide when my sauce is done. Whereas if you do use a grated type of cheese, it might be a little harder to see the texture in the sauce, so it might be a little harder to know when it's done. Either way, it's going to come out great, and I hope you guys enjoy my Alfredo recipe.